What's up, YouTube? It's Johnny Busket. I'm back with the Season 19 update for DCDB Cube. We got a lot of interesting updates for you guys. Me and Reno have been sitting here talking about it for a second. He's been kind enough to join us for another video. We've been throwing around a lot of ideas about some of these updates, and we're really excited to share them with you and kind of let you guys hear about the things we've been talking about. Starting right off the bat, there's not a lot of different things going on as far as additions, but I think with the MC changes and some of the things that were moved around, we're going to have an interesting season. So just for the people that are new, I always like to go into what is DCDB Cube. Cube is a competitive variant of DCDB. You can draft multiple MCs to make your teams. You combine cards and effects from multiple variants of the DCDB sets. The goal is to create a balanced and competitive version of DCDB while still enjoying all the content from the different sets. Now, the links are always going to be in the description. If you need info on what exactly this is, how you can join, all of that is in my description. So we're going to start off with a rules update first. So there's a couple new things added to how we play DCDB Cube. The first thing being a mulligan. So after you draft your MCs, but before the lineup is actually revealed, each player gets an opportunity to mulligan, quote unquote. So if you have 2 punches in the 3 bone hand, or you have 5 punches, you can call for a mulligan and you can shuffle that hand into your deck and redraw. You only get one opportunity to do that. And once again, it's only after the MC draft and it's before the lineup is revealed. Now for the second rules update we have, it is duplicate cards in the lineup. So at any point during the game, if players see more than one copy of the same card in the lineup, anyone can point it out and it will be removed and replaced with the top card of the main deck. Now we're on to the really juicy stuff. MC changes. So I'm going to flip over the tiers. I'm going to flip over these cards at the bottom. Okay, so right off the bat, I'll start by saying these 4 cards have been banned. Starting with Bizarro, then we got Nightwing, then we have Phantom Girl, and Red Lantern Supergirl. Now, for all you guys that love picking Bizarro, just to avoid those weaknesses, that is no longer an option. I was one of those. I would pick Bizarro and maybe go Baz and something else with Destruction, just to make sure. That was another way I could play a defense team in a sense. So that is no longer an option. Nightwing, the crossover A Nightwing is no longer an option. So as little as that was being used, I know some people probably missed the opportunity to get cards for cheaper. We'll talk about why Phantom Girl was removed in a second, and most people's favorite from this season, Red Lantern Supergirl, is now gone as well. For additions, we actually had a rescue mission that saved 3 characters and added them to tier 2. Those characters are Hal Jordan, Circe 9, and Batman 9. And we'll talk about those as well. Now for movement. In tier 2, Captain Boomerang has went from 3 down to 2. Chameleon Boy has went from 3 down to 2. Gorilla Grodd has went from 3 to 2. Red Robin has went from 3 to 2. Sarah Lance went up from 1 to 2. Starfire up from 1 to 2. Superboy 3 down to 2. And the Flash down from 3 to 2. Now, a couple of my favorites from there is of course going to be Chameleon Boy, Grodd. I'm definitely happy about those going down to 2. And the Flash also, that's going to revive some of my teams. Reno, any thoughts about tier 2 changes?
I think it's interesting Captain Boomerang's going back down. They wanted to stop, not stop, or let open teams. Well, they got rid of a team, right? With one of the other changes from 2 to 3 that we'll talk about in a little bit, but bringing back Trickster Boomerang Rainer is kind of interesting. Yeah, but Boomerang 2 is actually kind of nice. There are a lot of teams that open up with it that are going to be brought back, I think, which is pretty good, honestly.
Tier 3 changes. So Green Lantern is down from 4 to 3. Killer Frost is down from 4 to 3. Martian Manhunter is also another decrease down to 3. Oliver Queen is the last decrease down to 3. Now increases, Mirror Master is up from 2 to 3. Roy Harper also has been moved out of 3s into 4s. Tier 4, Cyborg. Cyborg is tier 4 now.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah. King Shark is up from 3s to 4. Roy Harper, like I mentioned before, Roy Harper is up from 3 to 4. Plastic Man is down. He's the only decrease in this category. He's down from 5 to 4. So he has some playability now. But for the star of the show, Cyborg, used in 1 million games last season, he was going with anything. Any team at all, he's going with it. Your thoughts on finally breaking up the Cyborg teams?
I don't know about breaking him up, but just readjusting his power level. Because he was the fact that you can buy a kick and make it a 3-powered kick turn 3 or 4 was kind of just like crazy, because he'd always have access to a 3-powered card turn 1 or 2, right? So therefore, theoretically, he can always just get to the better cards faster than most other teams. And in a game where the lineup stalls at 5 or greater, and you can only get 4s or 3s, he excels in a kick game, which happens more often than not nowadays, I feel. And he just outpaces a lot of the other teams, right? Because eventually you get an equipment. The cube is balanced almost with even ratio, so you will always get an equipment. And equipments are kind of overpowered in terms of utility, I feel.
It's a lot of draw, a lot of defense.
Yeah, a lot of draw, a lot of defense, some destruction.
Yeah.
Some just like go get cards, like win harder cards, like Silent Armor is a win harder card. Global Transformation is a win harder card. Like there's just a lot in equipments that people prize, like Mother Box,
MC Hat.
Like there's a lot in equipments that people want to get to, and they're always like high cost. I think equipments are like the highest cost on average. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that, but like I feel like they are. Like all the good cards are higher cost on average. Poker Raven's a 5 cost, but it pairs really well with Cyborg, right? Like, here's my superpower that a kick that's 3 power because of Cyborg, and then I play Poker Raven, which gives me additional power for it. Then I draw a card. So those 2 cards alone are 7 power, or no, 6 power. Well, 7 if you draw, because then you get a punch, ideally, right?
Yeah.
3 cards are 7 power. You can buy a boss in turn 4 or turn 3, hypothetically, with just 1 card.
Equipment average cost is 3.9. That is tied with heroes at 3.9, and superpowers are 4.0. That being said, everything you said is still true. When I think about Mother Box, when I think about Globe, when I think about MC Hat, for the first time, I never really thought about that. I think you're right. There's a lot of stuff in equipment that's just like, you get this card, you're on your way to winning.
Like their base like 2s or 3 aren't even the worst, right? Like I think one of the best cards in the game is what's the 3 cost? Aqualad, or what's that one card that lets you put ongoings into play immediately? That card is seriously, Water Bear, seriously underrated. I think it's one of the best like 3s, and for Cyborg, like
it's pretty good.
Like, because the hardest thing about locations is you never get to put them into play immediately. You always have to wait. But with Water Bear, as utility as it is, it's just like, here's this now. I didn't play my superpower yet. I still get to draw a card. It's Fortress of Solitude. Now that just snowballs into, I drew a card off of Water Bear, put into Fortress of Solitude, play the kick that's now 3 power, draw another card. It's a super like Cyborg in itself is just 1 MC, right? Like, but it works so well because of the cards that he wants to buy are just so good.
Yeah. He's not done, as you said. I said broke up the teams, but he's not done.
I mean, you just
still get played.
Take out the ones. Like, you can still run bad Cyborg. I was trying to test like bad teams with him and see what places I can get. Like, I don't think it's bad, but like not like efficient. I was running like Batman, that Batman that's like a hero equipment one. I forget the name. And then Cyborg. I literally didn't use Batman 12 until like turn 8, and I still was in the lead because I was able to buy a kick and get an equipment. I just didn't have a hero. So, like, Cyborg carried me throughout the whole game. It's happened more times that, like, Cyborg just does a lot of stuff because he gets you there to higher cards. Like, you want to buy Heat Vision. Heat Vision is, like, one of the best cards in the cube.
Power destruction.
Right. And you can get it turn 4. Or turn 2, sorry. Turn 3. Yeah, turn 3. Because you can just open up with a kick and 3 punch on your reshuffle. So you can just buy 2 straight kicks to increase the chances, and then you get your 6 costs out of the lineup. And the 6 costs in general are crazy.
In the times I've used Cyborg, it was like, okay, I'm not getting the cards I want, I'm not getting equipments. I'll buy a kick, or I'll buy another kick, I'll buy another kick. And by the time I reshuffle my deck, it's like, okay, well, I got 5 power automatically with 2 kicks in my hand.
Right.
And then I do get one of the higher cost cards in the lineup, or I just buy boss if it's the first boss.
You just snowball after that, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like if there's a game that forces you to buy 2 kicks for the whole table, and you're not Cyborg, you lose because Cyborg just wins those matchups.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of moving people around or moving MCs around because of how well they do, but I still understand and appreciate changes like this because now you have to go to the drawing board. Now you got to figure out something else. So I could always appreciate mixing it up for the sake of freshness. And that just means we're gonna see more Indigo, even though there's not a hero stack or or a villain stack, but still there were good Indigo teams too, or Indigo versions of the Cyborg team.
Yeah, I mean, you can just replace any Cyborg team with Indigo and just hope you get the hero or villain that you need.
Yeah.
So not the biggest of an issue in terms, like, especially with how balanced it is. If you're first, right, and you get Indigo, you have the highest chance of seeing a hero or villain.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's fine. I think it's gonna be a good replacement. I think Cyborg needs to be up here because, like, if you pick first and you just got Cyborg,
mm-hmm.
you had a high chance of finishing second. Like, I feel like I should look up those stats. For Cyborg and where he places in terms of MC ratings. Alright, so Cyborg has Cyborg, Simon Bass, Starfire, Crisis. It's like the main top one that's been played. It's 110 games, right? With 2.26 average. And the Red Lantern Supergirl that we were talking about before, why she got banned, 110 games, Calabac, Red Lantern Supergirl. The difference is 0.4. Like, more likely than not, Red Lantern Supergirl loses to the Cyborg, Simon Bass, Starfire team. Even though Starfire feeds into Red Lantern Supergirl. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It is that much stronger of a character.
2.26 is crazy. That's like, I'm getting second. Thank you.
I have to shout out to Bunny. Pycon. Because his team, Cyborg, Red Tornado, Night Owl, which only has 20 games played, which is him, has a 3.13 rating.
Jesus Christ. He's so good with that team. Like, that and his other team. Those are 2 teams that haven't got played that much yet, but once people find out. Well, yeah.
Sorry, 60, 120, 120, 330, and 3. So there have been 380 games with Cyborg this season, and not a single team has placed lower than 2.04 rating. The lowest is Cyborg Indigo, which is 2.04.
And now we can see why he got moved up. Just writing the stats. That's like, okay, I picked Cyborg second place. At least.
Sounds like it. You can run so many different variants of it. Like, yeah. I think Cyborg needs to get up. I think it needs to go up in the other time that we re-engineered the cube to have less teams.
When we moved Aquaman up and...
Yeah, like Aquaman.
Arsenal.
All of those tiers that went
Superman,
that just got broken up a lot of teams, right? Left him open to be the strongest 3, which he currently is.
I don't think he'll see the same fate as Superman and Aquaman did, though. People are still gonna use him.
Yeah. I mean, he's still good. I'm kind of interested to see what the stats will be next season if people just play Bass Cyborg.
You don't get any better than a power and a draw. Like,
No.
It's just
Well,
really
no,
good.
an available power in a draw, like an always available power in a draw, like that will never change. Like the fact that Cyborg will always be able to get a kick, turn 1 or 2, and just get the best available card because he has his best available card always available, a kick, and then Simon Bash just lets him draw more, right? So
yeah,
he's fine. He's fine as a 4. He just never needed the destruction on his team.
yeah. People will think of stuff, and he'll still get second and first. Like he's okay at 4. He's okay at 4. The world isn't over. Plastic Man. I don't think I saw him used more than a couple of times as a 5. So now he's a 4. Same Walker's a 3, so that won't matter. But I'm sure there's something. I have not looked in detail, but I'm sure there's something in 2 that's gonna make you excited about using Plastic Man. Even maybe in the 1s, if that's your thing. I know somebody's just gonna by default go back at just because. Which I don't think is one of the better options, but looking through the 2s, I'm sure there's something in here.
There are a lot of I think Teen Titans Go Robin.
I was just looking at him.
Yeah, he's probably one of the best. I think Red Hood or Starfire is actually fine too for a destroy comp, right? You just go Red Hood, Starfire, buy a kick, turn 1, make your punch a hero or a villain, and you destroy a villain. Try to snowball that way, slow and steady. And it's almost always available. You will get the Starfire trigger as long as you draw a kick. So you can actually just buy kicks nonstop and be good to go. Your first trigger is going to be
card hand thing.
Baz is 6 card hands, but still needs 2 colors. Maybe Red Robin because he dropped down.
Yeah,
that's actually not bad for cycle. There's a lot more options.
Really not bad.
Right, discard a bone, figure out what you want, just play equipment. Actually, I might try that. Oh,
that's not bad at all. So that's it for your tier changes. That's your bans, that's your additions. So now we're gonna go into the main deck changes. There's not a lot here. The composition of the deck is the same. It's still at 414. Even the type count is still the same. As far as your ban cards, Cape and Cow is gone. I shed a tier. I definitely shed a tier. Playing defense teams, I'm always looking for a draw 2 defense. That is my way to get in the first place. Otherwise, I'm just don't lose, second place type deal, unless I have something else snowball. Aquaman is gone and Mr. Miracle is gone. Those are your only bans. This equates to 6 cards being removed, and they also added 6 cards. So we got our 2 ancient maps back. We have a new defense being added, Porthole to Nowhere. And we also got Blue Devil, Boomerang, and Calderon. So we got some defense to replace Cape and Cow. We also got some heroes to replace Mr. Miracle and Aquaman, so those counts should still be the same. I'll put them up here on the screen for you like I did last time, but those counts should still be the same. Boomerang really got back into the game in a major way. Drop it down to a 2, and now his 5 cost card is back. Glad to see multiple defenses, and things you would do with Ancient Map every now and again were pretty cool. So I'm glad that's back. Celebrate and Shapeshift. Any thoughts about these card changes? There's not much here, but I don't know if you had any thoughts. I was just glad about the defense being back.
I think Portal to Nowhere is a very interesting one. It's kind of like a super win more with Sinestro.
Yep.
Sinestro.
The defense one.
Yeah, Sinestro Miracle, right? That's your team?
Yeah. And some too. I guess now I'll be able to do Grout or something, but I don't know. I'll test it.
Wait, this is actually way better for Sinestro Miracle than Cape and Cal ever would be, right? You pay the VP that you're gonna get back anyway to draw 3 cards and put it back on top of your deck.
If I'm gonna get boss, Like if I'm consistently buying boss, yeah, because otherwise I'm giving up a point to win. Like I'm giving up a point towards winning. Because with the defense teams, I'm already like trying really hard to even stay afloat. If I'm not just consistently buying bosses,
I know. If you're not consistently buying bosses, but I mean, each boss is worth the same to you, right? Because you defend with it. But the idea is that no one should buy an attack if you ever get this portal to nowhere, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't even need to buy it, and you'll have 3 cards in your hand that you never had before.
You're right. Because the VP is being replaced.
Yeah. I find this interesting. I mean, I know why, actually. It's
Please enlighten me. I had no idea.
It's just too good as a 3, right? Like, you can actually buy this turn 1, then buy the kick the next turn, and then eventually it'll be a 3 power card, because you'll have kicks in your graveyard. Or even, like, the 4 power 2 powers are actually really good, too. Like,
yeah.
It gets, like, Element Woman back, the thing that lets you,
Yep. Done that a couple times.
Yeah, there are other like 4-cost superpowers that are pretty good. Like the one that replaces lineup, so you can clean lineup out. Or if you had Power of Green, so it's a good card. I don't know. It had a lot of utility that was really good. Because superpowers, it was also just easy to fulfill the condition because you can buy a kick. I think this is okay. It also let people get 2 VP randomly, because you can always just buy the kick, play this card, then buy another cost, because you basically pay the kick back.
Which would be me most of the time, because I would always get it in my first hand of my reshuffle. So I never look at it.
It makes sense too now, because this card was problematic with Hal Jordan. Oh, with Ocean Master.
Mm-hmm.
Ocean Master 9 was lower. Just buy the kick, pull it, and buy another card, and you destroy. I can see. Makes sense.
You know what? And I just realized we didn't talk much about these additions. Was that everything you had with the main deck changes?
I'm just looking forward to shapeshift my ancient maps away.
Exactly. I did miss that, so I'm glad that's back. But did you have anything about these 3 guys here?
Interesting. I mean, it'd be cool with Cyborg, I guess.
Yeah.
Or obviously other equipment teams, like with the Renoramen reduction. This is kind of cool too. Like, I just think it opens up a little more. I don't know why Cersei's at 2. I guess if she was at a 1, it would be a better Sarah Lance.
But could you imagine topping Lobo as soon as you buy him?
I can. I'm trying to think how it's abusable right now in my head.
Well, like, you get Lobo into your next hand. I mean, any really good villain. And I don't think there's a stipulation on it being in the lineup either, right? So, I mean, you're topping all your bosses.
That's true. You could top bosses and just play them.
Turn. So Power Ring is a villain. So Power
Ring is a villain.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it that she has a high ceiling. Yes, for sure. But I don't know if she's a good ad. Like, what else are you gonna? What team are you gonna put her on? The 2/2/2s are pretty bad.
Ones need a lifeline. So I mean, her and Hal Jordan could have been there for me. That's just me.
Hal Jordan's fine as a 2. He could be a 1 if Ocean Master was a 2, but then you just literally run Ocean Master, Cheetah, him, and you destroy 3 cards a turn.
It's the same thing when Dark Knight's Metal first came out. It was just like Ocean Master was a better version of him.
Yeah.
Once you run out of starters, then what? You just have a blank card. You literally can just flip this over.
Yeah, but that happens a lot with a lot of other cards, right? Like, once I guess Raylan Supergirl's not like the best example, but like it still felt like that. Like, after 3 turns of like the greatness of discarding 3 times in a row, then all of a sudden you can only do it once a round. That's where you teeter out. Same with this Wonder Woman Crisis. I guess she is more upside, but she can get rid of weaknesses. But there are a lot of cards that are just like, after a certain point, then you're you're just done with them. Like any of the controls.
Yeah.
But he is similar to like Katana. But
I'll be using this Batman for sure. So,
I just it's just gonna take time to figure out what to do with them, or like where they fit and how the cube feels like it plays out. It doesn't feel like it's gonna play out any different than it did last season, in terms of main deck. So, in terms of main deck, I feel like these two are the only playable ones, and then this one is super situational, or super situational, but like also there are no decent villain team that you can use. You know what I'm saying? Like
Martian.
Yeah, Martian. Maybe Indigo. They like guarantee, but like still rather run Crisis Wonder Woman if you're gonna do this. Maybe like Crisis Wonder Woman, her, and Raven. Any of the Ravens, the +2 Raven or the TTG Raven. I mean, there's options. Yeah, there's a lot of options. I guess she opens up options, but I just don't know how well they'll play versus this thing. I still think 3/3s are probably still the best combination that you're
topping cards is just like we talked about draw and that available power with Cyborg. Topping cards is really good utility. Like I always just think it's really good utility. Now the way you use it, and with her being just villains, that's also another thing. It's just that depends on the game. But I think it's very useful to be able to top a card in a lot of situations. Just like we were talking about Water Bear being able to put out an ongoing, being able to put a card you just bought on top of your deck early game is, it's really good to me.
Yeah, I think the best is like opening 3 punches, topping a Zaz, topping a Zaz. I don't know if there's any other 2/2 or 2 power 3 cost villains, whatever they may be. Pretty much, yeah. Oh, I guess it's what's its name? Plasmas.
Plasmas is another one.
So like, you just pretty much put a red kick on top of your deck, and then hope you get the 4 punches to get 6 power. And ideally, it'd be like a Bane or a Doomsday. I can see it still super gimmicky.
Well, shout out to B Young and Fiend for their rescue missions. I'm glad we got some new MCs, so that's cool. For the last update, that corresponds to our supervillains. The only changes here is that there's no more Flash at the 10 bosses and no more Parallax at the 15 bosses. So those two are gone. A really useful 10 at the beginning of the game and a really devastating attack at the end of the game. Also, Parallax is really good to use on the off chance you got a chance to use it. Those are gone. So that will do it for all of our changes to the cube in regards to MCs, cards, villains. This is what we'll be using this season.
I'm glad this is gone.
Which one?
The Flash.
Yeah, if you got it early, it was like, oh, okay, well, we know who's most likely going to place first.
All right. He was a super win more boss.
Yeah. I am too. I'm glad he's going too.
Parallax is also like it only hurt one person most of the time, 1 or 2 people, and then either prolonged the game or made the game worse. And if you could actually play it, it just gave him the next boss, right? Like 5/15, easily get to 7, put it on top of your deck, fine.
If you have him in your deck, you're definitely able to double your power and get bosses next time. It wasn't any debate about that. All right, and that'll do it for our Season 19 update. Reno, thank you as usual. It was great to sit down and talk about this stuff with you. I hope you guys enjoy the season.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Peace.
Peace.